Hey guys! So I watched Tarzan the Ape Man circa 1932. In some ways it left me feeling really conflicted, but I would say I enjoyed it overall. The simplest way I can sum up the movie is that it's a Beauty and the Beast story about a woman, Jane, who embarks on a safari into the jungle with her father and his men, and winds up being spirited away by a mysterious feral man, Tarzan. And there's definitely something to that. Jane, the denizen of an uptight colonial culture, descends into nature, discovers the nature within herself. It's a classical psychological paradigm of feminine encountering masculine to interpolate it, and it fits the greater paradigm of death and rebirth that occurs in the hero's journey monomyth. And in some ways I might even call it a bit of a subversion of what might be typically called a harlequin or a fanfic premise, in that the animal is awakened within Jane, and she chooses to remain an animal with Tarzan. It also plays into the unusual raciness of the movie as an appeal. Scenes of Jane casually undressing in front of her father or wafting through a lake with the mostly naked Tarzan were surely odd for the time. The set pieces with the African animals and Tarzan's acrobatics are what really makes this movie stand out, though. The movie creates some really exciting spectacle through a combination of rear projection, animal suits, and interaction with real-life animals. There are genuine thrills in seeing Tarzan wrestle lions or ride hippos, and Jane matches Tarzan alright with her natural curiosity and affinity for the jungle, even though she's initially frightened at her kidnapper. I really have to praise the editing too. There definitely are a few clumsy edits from bits that were left on the cutting room floor, such as part of Jane's lakeside conversation with Tarzan, but it takes a really good editor to stitch unrelated animal footage together to turn it into something convincing and compelling, on top of creating convincing transitions between suits and actual animals. So props on that front. But the animals actually also raise some of my complicated feelings about this flick. Because most of the characters venture into the jungle in the first place seeking to raid an elephant graveyard for its ivory. The graveyard is actually protected by a tribe that sees it as a place so sacred, anyone who finds it is put to death. So it's not just that it's a tribally sacred place, but also that the movie really humanizes the elephants, which are, in real life, very intelligent animals. We're shown that Tarzan is kind because he saves an elephant. The elephant saved Tarzan multiple times. And in the end, the characters are able to find it because one of the elephants is dying from a wound it received while rescuing them. Jane finally seems to realize what a terrible thing it is to invade the graveyard when she remarks on how solemn it is, on the fact that they shouldn't be there. But immediately after, she alludes to protecting her comrade Safari later so he can safely raid all the ivory for money. The protagonist essentially exploited an elephant that gave its life to save them, to make money off of it and its dead compatriots. Some of the race stuff left me conflicted as well, like during the midpoint when Jane is arguing with her companion about the worth of Tarzan's life. Her companions argue that he's essentially a soulless animal, regardless of race, while she argues that they should care about him because he's white, in spite of the fact that they have a ton of black comrades aiding them on their expedition. But there's not too much of it outside that scene. A product of its era, sadly, on that front, albeit not as bad as King Kong in that regard. Overall, it actually holds up as a really fun adventure movie. And regardless of whether it's because of the ground the movie broke with its effects work, or if you just want a fun, time-killing movie, I definitely recommend checking it out. Alright guys, thanks for stopping by. Hit like and subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications. Have a nice day.